Welcome to the Political Checkmate, and today I'm going to checkmate Democracy at Work's video, Money Supply Doesn't Cause Inflation, the Profit System Does. Economic Update. So here we go.
The inflation's also not about money creation. Here's another popular myth. Oh, gee, the government is printing a lot of new money and pumping it into the economy. That's true. And that's the cause of inflation. That's not.
Oh really? Then how come this survey from the American Economic Association found that a substantial amount of economists support the idea that inflation is caused primarily by too much growth in the money supply? Also, this study from the Federal Reserve of Minneapolis in 1995 looked at 110 countries over a 30-year period, and one of the things they found was that the growth rate of the money supply highly correlated with an increase of general price levels. This study may be a few decades old, but the reason why I'm citing this study is because this study from the Johns Hopkins University updated the study using the same methodology and looked at 147 countries from a 30-year time span and found similar results, and that there is a tight relationship between the growth rate in the money supply and inflation. And as economist Milton Friedman once said, inflation is always and everywhere a monetary phenomenon. Anyway, let's see what Richard Wolff has to counter that argument.
Not true. Why not? Well, first of all, we've been pumping record amounts of new money into the economy for the last 20 years, and we haven't had an inflation. So anyone who thinks that extra money means inflation has got the last 20 years of contradictory evidence. Now, I understand evidence is boring, but if you're at all interested in it, it proves that this is not the case. And theoretically, it's easy to show why it isn't. When the government pumps money into the economy, when the Federal Reserve literally injects new money into the economy, which it's doing right now, and which it has been doing, as I say, for 20 years, the question really becomes, what do private employers do facing that money? And they have a choice. That's what free enterprise gives them. Free enterprise means the employer can say, wow, I know all these people have more money in their pocket. The government has just put more money in people's pockets. So here's something I can do. I can order more goods in my store because I'll be able to sell more of them because they have more money to spend. And that's what the government kind of wants. Because if the stores say, we want more stuff because we're going to sell more to the public with its extra money, then more will have to be produced and jobs will be created producing the more that the employers choose to sell and to make. But of course, employers are free not to do that. Here's what employers can do when there's more money in the economy. They can jack up the prices of what they sell, of what they make, of what's in their inventory. Can't they? Yes, they can.
The reason why we didn't have inflation earlier, according to economist Ross McKendrick, is because most of the new money was in the banks and not circulating into the economy. Now, the reason why inflation is happening now is because of a combination of monetary expansion, demand stimulus, and supply contractions. While for Richard Wolff's the theoretical reason for why this is not the case, my response is simply supply and demand. The reason why businesses would increase prices with the new money, aka increased demand, is because the increased demand is more than the cost of current price levels. They could produce with increased prices. Now with inflation, the businesses themselves would experience inflation because the items they use for their products have increased. So that's why businesses would increase cost because of inflation.
Free choice. By the way, the majority of us pay prices. A very small minority of us, employers, set the prices. The government doesn't set prices. You and I don't set prices. Prices are set by employers, 2-3% of our population. They're the ones who cause an inflation. And of course, they never take responsibility. They're always doing it because they have to. You don't believe that when your child tells you that, don't believe it when the childish adults try to tell you that they're not to blame when they're the ones who chose as free entrepreneurs to raise their profit. prices. And why? Because they want more profits, Jack. That's why they raise prices. You know, when you go to business school, you learn that's why you do everything. For that bottom line, the profit you get. The only thing is the employers know that we'll be mad at them because they raise the prices, and that hurts us. So they always have to come up with somebody else to blame. The government, the money creation, Mr. Biden, Mr. Trump. Don't be fooled. You have a system that puts the employer in the position of raising prices whenever they think they can make a profit doing so. You want to know what causes inflation? The profit system. It's only a question of the employer deciding when is the right moment to jack those prices up.
Supply and demand determines prices, not really business owners. If they did, then how come they can't simply charge a table for $1 trillion? The reason why they can't is because not many people would buy the table, so they have to charge a marketable rate. I gotta say, if business can simply charge whatever they want, then why is there deflation where the general prices declined and not go up? And certain prices became cheaper over time, such as TVs or computers. I gotta say, this study from the American Economic Association looked at price increases and found that the firms that increased costs weren't necessarily the ones that with the fatter profit margins, and this study from the Federal Reserve found that corporate profit margins were not abnormally high during the COVID-19 pandemic once you account for fiscal and monetary interventions such as the government support for small and medium businesses and reductions in net interest expenses due to accommodative monetary policy. This is the end of the video. Thank you for watching, and please donate to my Patreon so I can make more videos and have your video requests checkmated. And thanks for watching, and have a nice day.